Okay, so we'll just start today in a comfortable seat. One of the things we've been talking about in Hunger, Hope, and Healing recently is about the part of ourselves for some of us that overfunctions, and how that is an adaptation that we learned when we were kids, and it follows us into adulthood and through our lives. And a lot of the reason that we continue over functioning is because we're good at it. We have a lot of skills, we are very responsible, and we also have the ability to kind of see what the people around us need, and then the desire to help them, which are all really good qualities to have. But they can become too big and too much. And in some ways, we take away the opportunity for the other people to work through some things and figure those out that helps them grow. And we're using our energy for something that really isn't ours to fix. So as we practice today, we can see what parts of us are showing up. And if that's a part that resonates with you, you can just be curious about the size of that part of us. How big is it today? And throughout our yoga practice, as our nervous system comes into regulation, we can periodically check in with that part and see how it's doing. So let's begin to draw our awareness inward and see what parts of us have shown up today by gently closing the eyes and lengthening the spine. And taking our awareness to our breath as we welcome our breath wherever it is right now. And then invite the breath to deepen. Just see if over several cycles you can find the breath making its way all the way down to the low belly. As we notice the breath moving up and down the center of the body, you can imagine that center as being the wisest self, or that lighthouse part of you where your wisdom comes from. Also let that part be the observer today. And see perhaps where our part of overfunctioning might be. And see what size that part feels like today. Without any judgment. Just recognizing that it's there. And also knowing that our wisest self, the capital S self, we sometimes say, or the lighthouse self, all of those being the same. And that part of us will be nourished today, so we can observe the other parts and move from a place of wisdom. And then you can either keep your eyes closed, or if you'd like to open them, keep your gaze soft, perhaps towards the ground. As you extend the arms forward, interlace the fingers. So the pinkies are down towards the earth, the fingers and the thumbs rather are up towards the sky, and you'll turn to press your palms away from you. Take a few breath cycles here. And just imagine that place in between the shoulder blades is able to expand a little bit, creating some space there. And then a slight bend in the elbows as you take the arms up and overhead. Might like to lift the gaze a little bit. Make sure to support the back of your neck if you do. Long, slow breaths here with the rib cage lifting away from the hips. And then on your next exhale, let the hands part and twist over to the right, any amount. Try to keep some broadness across the collarbones. You can also let the head be in a twisting position. Just be gentle with your neck. Long, slow breath cycles here. And the next inhalation will raise the arms up, moving back through center and over to the second side. Pausing. Again, broadening across the collarbones, letting the gaze go over the shoulder. And then extending the arms out to your left. Keep them about as far apart as if you were holding a beach ball. And we'll inhale to center, exhale back to the right. Inhale, center, exhale back to the left. And just continue doing this for several breath cycles. Starting to awaken the spine. Get our movement linked up with the breath, which is already starting to regulate the nervous system. And a couple of more times like this. And the next time you come back through center, fingertips up toward the sky, palms coming down to heart center. You can gently close the eyes and just pause here. Again, bringing awareness to our grounded, wisest self. Just observing the other parts that are showing up, particularly that overfunctioner, if she happens to be here. And then we'll release the arms. Place your right hand on the floor right next to your hip and take the left arm up and over. So you want to keep both hips level, pressing into the earth so you can really feel a stretch in the side waist here. If you'd like to, you can take your gaze toward the earth. Just take several breath cycles here, focusing on the openness that you might be able to feel in the rib cage as you breathe into that open side. And let's come up and back to center, pausing. And then we'll do the second side. So hand to the earth, arm coming up, hip pressing into the earth. Slow, steady breath. And the gaze can go down to the earth if that would feel okay on your neck. And inhaling back to center. And let's make some hip circles here before we move to hands and knees. So you can just start with some gentle circles that perhaps get bigger, and we can invite the other parts of our body, like our arms, our shoulders, the gaze, to kind of move with our movement. And just working out any places that are holding onto tension, or just feel like they might need to be stretched out. Yeah, really nice, you guys. And then wherever you are in the next breath or two, pause momentarily and switch directions. Beautiful. Make your way back to stillness. Take your time getting there. And once more, pausing for a breath or two, and just checking in. Our inner world, our inner self, lets us know how we're feeling and what is going on in our bodies. So we can pause and pay attention. You might notice that with some intentional movement and breath, things begin to quiet down. Okay, and let's make our way to hands and knees. I have a blanket under my knees, which I like. So if you would like that as well, please support yourself fully. We'll come down to hands and knees. Make sure you're pressing into the thumb and the index finger to help take some pressure off the wrists. As you exhale, let the belly drop down and the gaze come up any amount that feels comfortable. When we inhale, everything draws up and in as we round the spine and lower the head. And we're going to do this several times. So take your time to really link your breath for the whole entire movement. Moving at your own pace. I'm just giving the spine some love here. A couple of more times like this. And then the next time you come through center, pause there and draw the belly in a little bit so that your lower back has support. And take your right leg out to the side. And you're going to press the whole sole of your foot into the earth, especially that pinky side. And then really be grounded in your left hand and left leg, because we're going to inhale the right arm up toward the sky. And as we exhale, that arm's going to come down and go right underneath the left, any amount. So inhale, take the arm up toward the sky. Exhale down and through the left arm, any amount. And we'll do this a few more times. Slow and steady with the breath. Next time your arm comes up toward the ceiling, keep it there, fingers reaching toward the sky. Take a few breaths right here. And then go ahead and lower the right hand. Bring the right knee in. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So left leg out, really ground in the right hand and leg. And then when you're ready, inhaling left up, exhaling down. And if this feels like you're feeling pretty steady, you can just experiment with closing your eyes here to further bring your awareness inward. Next time that left arm comes up toward the sky, keep it there, reach the fingers, draw the belly in a little bit. Good, and then bring that left hand down, the left foot in. And take the knees a little bit wide to make room for the belly. Let the hips come back and walk the hands forward. So you're in really kind of a more active version of child's pose. And keeping the hips centered, take your hands and walk them over to the left. And you'll notice that the right arm, those fingers are a little bit ahead of the left. So push your right hand into the earth and push your right hip back. Trying to create some nice long space on the right side. A few more breath cycles here. And then on your next exhale, walk back through center and over to the second side. Remember, the left hand will probably be further than the right, and just go ahead and press into that left hand, pressing the left hip back, taking some long, slow breaths. And then come back to center. Bring the knees back to hip distance apart. Turn the toes under, and then pressing into the hands and into the feet. Gently press yourself up into a downward dog. And you can make this kind of playful, swinging the hips side to side if that feels good. Bending one leg at a time. Just getting some movement here. Nice and long in the spine. And pressing the hips away from the hands. And then pause for a few breath cycles in stillness. And gently walk the hands back as you find yourself then in a forward fold. And breathe. In this forward fold, go ahead and walk your hands over to the left. So you're in a little bit of a twist here, but hips stay planted where they are. A few cycles of breath here. And then moving back to center and over to the second side. A few cycles of breath. Back to center. Draw the belly button up into the spine. And coming up to standing nice and slow. You can just pause right here. Close your eyes. Again, checking in with how you're feeling. What is your inner state? Can you have more of a sense of your wisest self. And then gently open the eyes. I'm going to do a little bit of a standing series. So clear your mats, except for your blocks, which will go to the top of the mat. And they can start on their highest height, which is where I like to start mine. Nice, everyone. Okay, so find your Tadasana. I like to lift my toes so I can feel the whole bottom of my foot. And then see if you can distribute the weight evenly. And then let the toes come down. We'll do several inhales and exhales with the arms. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Do this a few times, getting ourselves ready for just a little vignette. Okay, arms are coming up the next time, and you're going to fold forward. So nice, easy forward fold. Use your blocks for support. Let the head and neck hang down. You can even move it side to side or back and forth. A few long, slow breaths here. Letting your awareness really come inward. And then press your hands into your blocks, coming up halfway. Take your left foot back. Toes are going to point out just a little bit. And then a bend into your right knee. So we're in a little bit of a lunge pose right here. Draw the belly in. Make your abs nice and strong and come up. And place the hands to the hips. The legs are in a warrior one stance here. Think about being really grounded from the hips down as you're pressing evenly into both feet. Lift the rib cage, and then the arms come up toward the sky. And your gaze can be wherever is comfortable, straight ahead, up toward the ceiling a bit. We're going to pause here for several breath cycles, imagining the power that you have in this posture and connecting that with the power that you have looking from your lighthouse as you experience your wise self being the observer of life. And start to straighten your right leg. We're going to hinge from the hip crease, coming forward. You want to find your blocks. Move your blocks so that they are underneath your shoulders and you can rest your hands on there. See if you can pull the right hip back a little bit in this pose, Parsvottanasana. A nice flat back to start. But you also have some core engagement here. And then if you would like to move further into this posture, you can start to let your arms bend at the elbow and let the head come down. But this is not necessary. You can also stay right where you are. If your belly is kind of moving into your right thigh, you might try moving it more towards center and see if that gives a little more room to you. Couple of breaths here. And then very gently move your blocks forward of your right foot. Be really strong in the right leg as you bring the left foot forward. And then let yourself go back into that forward fold, making room for the belly. Nice long breath. Draw the belly button up into the spine. Coming up nice and easy. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Gaze may go up to the sky. We're going to exhale, come into that forward fold again as we'll move to the second side. Just taking a few breaths in forward fold, Uttanasana. And then coming halfway up, bending a little bit in both knees. Take the right foot back this time. Toes are out just a smidge. We're going to bend into the left knee, engaging the core, pressing the feet deeply into the earth, and coming up into our warrior one stance. Really being firmly rooted here in both the legs. And then you imagine the rib cage lifting away from the hips, inhaling the arms up. Once more, here you are, firmly rooted, right in that lighthouse, having the ability to see all that is around you, the different parts of you that show up in your life with a curiosity and a love. A couple more breath cycles here. And then gently straighten both legs. Hinging from that hip crease, coming forward, finding your blocks. And bringing those blocks so they are right under your shoulders. Hands are supporting you. And once you feel stabilized here, you can see if the left hip will kind of go back any. And that might change where you are feeling sensation in that left leg. Both feet are strongly pressing into the earth. And there's a slight engagement in the belly. A couple more cycles of breath. And if you would like to go further, you can let your head hang down, releasing into the posture. All of your focus moving inward. And when you're ready, coming up halfway, moving the blocks forward, and then stepping forward into Uttanasana. Releasing into Uttanasana, long spine. Drawing the belly button in. Coming up nice and easy. And let's take several cycles of breath here. So we'll inhale the arms up. Exhaling down several times. Once more with the arms up, palms together. Bringing the hands down to heart center. Just pause here and notice once more how you're feeling. How is your nervous system? Where are your parts of you compared to your lighthouse? And releasing the hands. Let's meet in the center of the mat, and we're going to take a wide-legged stance. Just get my hair out of my face. So take your legs about, as wide as feels comfortable. And at first, we're just going to swing side to side here. So you might want to point your toes out. That always feels a little bit better. on my knees. And if you want to lift one heel, just get this movement. Nice, you guys. And then just gently slowing down, coming to center. So we'll keep the toes out. We're going to do our very lovely say no to say yes breath. And it's really saying no to the things that don't belong to us, to other people's stuff, and saying yes to ourselves and the things that we need. And if you remember, just a refresher, the exhale, right, is the palm out for saying no. And then the inhale is the fist coming in to say yes. And then I'm telling you this now because I know when we do this a little bit of a faster breath, I don't think you'll be able to hear me very well. So come into your horse stance. It doesn't need to be anything super deep, just whatever is comfortable. Make sure you have some belly engagement here. I like to place my hands on my hips and just make sure everything is where I want it to be. And then we'll turn the hands and make fists. So we'll take an inhale here. And remember, these are short bursts of breath. And so please use your inner wisdom and do not do it until you get breathless. So as we exhale, we push away, inhale. Yeah, just like this. Nice, everyone. Do it at your own speed, and you can really get that twisting going if you would like. And then when you're ready, you will be back in center. I'm going to pause here, straighten up, release the stance, shake everything out, swing the arms. Yeah, we're going to do this 2 more times. So think of this as a release of anything that you might be holding on to, as well as anything that might come to you for this day. Finding that stance, arms in as fists. And let that exhale push away, coming in. And when you're ready, coming back, pausing, releasing that. You can even shake the hands, shake the legs, all of it. Think of this as a resetting for yourself. Yes, beautiful, you guys. And once more, one final time in that horse stance, right? We're saying no to our overfunctioning ways. And yes, to creating some more time and space to care for ourselves. Hands in position, exhaling no to yes. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, back, bringing the heels and toes back together. This time, let's pause into Tadasana. Take several breaths and just feel that energy that you've created. All that good energy to help care for yourself as you have released and said no to the things that detract from that. Beautiful. Okay, find your blocks and put them right in front of you. We're going to take a wide legged forward fold. So toes are pointed forward, legs are comfortable and far enough that you feel like you still have good support. Really press down into the legs and create that stable foundation. Again, think of lifting the rib cage away from the hips. We're going to hinge at that hip crease coming forward, reaching for the blocks and a nice long spine. Once you get here, sometimes you can find that you have a little more room in your feet. And if that happened, press them away from each other, resettle yourself. Some nice long, slow breaths here. And then walk your blocks forward so that the arms become a little bit longer, a little bit straighter. And we're in kind of a downward dog position here. Breathing. Belly is slightly engaged, supporting the back. Pressing the feet into the earth. And then move the blocks back. If you have any room to dial the blocks down a little bit, go ahead and do that. And then you can let the head hang down. Any amount that's comfortable. You may bring your elbows to the blocks or hands to the earth. Find whatever position works for you here. Let your awareness move back inward. The focus being on caring for yourself. And then you can bring the hands back up so that you have a flat back again. Belly is still engaged. And then let your feet heel toe in toward one another so that you are in a forward fold again. Uttanasana. Drawing the belly up and bringing ourselves up. Several inhales and exhales here with the arms going up and moving down. Next time the hands come down, just pause and breathe. Nice. Let's end our standing series working on Vrikshasana or tree pose. So I have heard that if you start with your leg that is not as strong as the other one, it can help to strengthen it. So if you know that you have a weaker side, for me, that's my right side. So I'm going to start with that being my standing leg. Find some place that you can focus on. And for just right now, to start, shift your weight to that side, but bring your heel in and keep your toes of the other leg on the floor. So everything is engaged, kind of moving in toward each other. You want to let the knee go out as much as it can. And then if you would like to move further, you can, but you can also stay here. This is also tree pose. If you have room and balance today, you can bring that leg up. Maybe the hands can come to heart center. Or perhaps they go up toward the sky. You just keep working with what you have today. Seeing you can kind of cultivate a feeling of it in the lighthouse right here as you're standing nice and tall. Using your wisdom and strength to balance and being able to come back into balance mindfully. Releasing the foot back down. And just wiggle out your feet a little bit, especially that standing foot. If you notice how much work that standing foot is doing, right? Okay, we'll switch sides. Again, just cultivating a sense of stability here by really pressing into your standing leg and bringing the other heel in while the toes stay on the ground. You can work on opening the knee right there. This is perhaps where you're staying. And if you have more room, then you can bring that foot up, opening up the knee, really drawing everything into center. And maybe the fingers can go toward the sky. You just get a glimpse of being really solid here. And when you lose your balance, you can reset, coming back to stability. And hands can come back down. Let that foot down, wiggling everything out. Nice, you guys. Okay, we are going to come back down to the floor. We'll stretch out a little bit the hips and the legs, and then we'll come to Shavasana. So kind of gather your supplies so you don't have to go too far. And it is very appropriate to have a blanket or a little pillow or something under your head right now, if you would like. So as you come down, we'll just come to lying on our backs. And pausing to just notice what it feels like to put yourself from standing to lying on the floor. And taking a moment, just a breath or two, to reorient, to find a sense of grounding. And we'll move into a reclined pigeon or figure four, sometimes we call it, where the left ankle can go to the right knee. And you'll press the left knee away from the body, not with your hand, but just using the leg to do so. And if you would have more to go here, you'll start to bring the right foot off the ground and the right knee in toward the chest. You might even like to grab with the right hand behind the right thigh. But take several breaths here. You might like to close your eyes. Feel into wherever there is sensation. And you can imagine that area softens with your breath. Even if it's only imagined, it's just this idea that our breath can help to soothe and soften all parts of ourselves. And we'll let the right foot come down. Release the left. And then take the right ankle to the left thigh. And again, you want the knee to be moving away from the body. And it might feel good to stay right here. If you'd like to take it further, bring the left foot off the earth, left thigh closer to the body. Breathe. Couple more breaths here. And release the left foot. Let the right foot come down. Take your feet about as wide as the mat. The hands and arms can be down toward your side. We'll just do some windshield wiper legs, so letting the knees go to one side. You might like to pause for a breath or two and then come to center and move to the second side. So this is really up to you and what you feel is most helpful right now. And it might be to stay on one side, or it might be to have some gentle movements with the legs and the hips like this. Following your instincts and your desires here on your yoga mat. Sometimes where we can learn how to trust ourselves a little bit more. Knowing that the things we need are not always what someone else needs. And as that feels complete, you can bring your knees back to center. Hug the knees into the chest. And find some gentle rocking here. So you can just rock side to side if you like, but you can also take your knees in circles. And if you find that circling is what feels good to you, make sure to offer yourself to go in both directions. You might like to roll out your ankles here. And any other movements that you think you might like to have, please do so. And then find your Shavasana. It might be with a bolster under your knees. Or perhaps you have a chair, or like I do, a couch right here, and you can put your legs on there. Anything that would feel restful to you for these next few moments. Let yourself get settled with a couple of long, slow breaths. For the next few cycles of breath, allow your exhale to encourage your back body, especially the shoulders, the hips, the backs of the legs, to really release into the earth beneath you. Knowing that these next few minutes of rest are helping you to nurture your wisest self, letting that part of you experience the benefits of your practice. while the other part, and that over functioning part, can see that your wise self, knows what it is doing. We appreciate all parts of ourselves, knowing that they're all needed or were needed at some point in our lives. And allow the awareness to move deeper as we begin to relax the forehead. That little space between the eyes. The upper and lower jaw can release from each other. Let your awareness float over the collarbones, just allowing them to release a little bit deeper into the body. Let the awareness move down your arms, through the palms, and through the fingers. You might even curl up a little bit as they start to relax. Letting all of that be heavy and soft, releasing into the earth. Notice on your exhale that the belly can soften. And from that softening, imagine that moving toward your hips. They can fully let go. Letting go of any tension that is there. Releasing it into the earth beneath you. Sensing the softness as well as the heaviness. And encouraging that to move down the thighs, over the knees, and the shins and the calves. To the heels, soles of the feet and the toes. And allowing yourself next few moments of deep rest and relaxation. To share this loving kindness for our bodies meditation. May I greet my body with gentleness. May I soften when life invites me to harden. May I listen to my intuition with wisdom and trust it with ease. May I appreciate my body a little more in this moment, just as it is. Once more, May I greet my body with gentleness. May I soften when life invites me to harden. May I listen with my intuition, with wisdom, and trust it with ease. May I appreciate my body a little more in this moment, just as it is. Continue to allow yourself just rest for several minutes. Over the next couple of breath cycles, let your awareness slowly come back to the surface. Taking with it that present moment of just being in your body. As you begin to bring gentle movement to your body. And rolling to either side, pause there. And take 2 refreshing breaths. Knowing that you've taken the time to care for yourself, the capital S self, this morning. Pressing up into a comfortable seat. Bringing the palms together at your heart. It's a gesture of appreciation to your wisest self for bringing you to the mat. And a recognition of all parts of yourself. And bowing your head in a gesture of appreciation. Namaste.